You are listening to Filmmaking Reviews podcast, an interview with me, Catherine Tosco, editor of filmmakingreview.com. Interview with Ilya Naishuller of Biting Elbows, director of the viral sensation Insane Office Escape 2. So can you tell us a bit about Biting Elbows, the band, first off, and about yourself as a musician?
Sure. We've been playing in some form or other for about a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact point where we took this name, but we used to play a lot of punk shows, and it wasn't really going anywhere, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't taking it too seriously. We recorded an album. It turned out to be pretty crap. We deleted it. We sat down. After I got my first proper job, I worked with Roland Joffe on his first Russian film. He did two.
Right.
They're very specific films. I won't recommend watching them, but we learned quite a lot. Plus, I made enough money to go buy myself a proper instrument. Once I got myself a proper instrument, we started recording new stuff, and new stuff turned out to be actually the kind of music that I wouldn't mind listening to, which was a big breakthrough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, because it used to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So then after that, we started recording. We made a bunch of songs and we threw them out as well. And then we finally got around to recording a proper. We made an EP. And we shot the first part of the Insane Office Escape for that EP as one of the videos, and that did pretty well.
Yeah.
And then we released an album. We got signed thanks to the success of the Stampede, the video.
Yeah.
So we got signed, and it's been a fun year. We played we opened up for Guns N' Roses and Placebo and a few other bands, and got to travel around Russia a little bit. Not too much, but just enough so. Sort of our interest in the music was sort of rising.
Yeah.
Started taking it more and more seriously. And we sort of thought that we should do part two because that's the one that people watched. Even though I like the other videos a lot more because the other videos sort of have a message and they're visually more. It's closer to what I'd like to see or to watch. But we thought let's do this one and see how that works.
So this is Bad Motherfucker out on iTunes right now, yeah?
Yes, that is correct.
So do you want to tell us about the concept for that video?
It's actually incredibly simple. The idea that we wanted to fulfill is a video that will just be exciting. It will not be. It won't have a deep meaning. It won't have any political or sociological sort of aspects to it. It's just going to be something that person going to watch, and he's going to enjoy the hell out of it. And if that goes well, he'll watch it again. So if you notice in the credits, it doesn't say anywhere that it was written by me because there's no writing to be done. We just sort of sat down and said, let's do this, and this, and then see how we can film it. Yeah. So I don't think it's even much of a script. I mean, yeah, I didn't have a paper saying what was going to happen. I just knew the sequence of tricks, and I had a very, very basic storyboard for several of the scenes. Yeah, so...
what made you think about doing it as a point of view piece? Because I think that's the unique selling point,
sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I got a camera. A GoPro camera when I was snowboarding one time. I'm a terrible snowboarder, and I just bought it, I don't know why, just see how I fall. I brought it back home. I gave it to my friend Sergey, who shot the videos in the end. And he gave the camera back to me with some shots that he made of him just walking around and doing some tricks. And I thought this can be a really cool, low-budget, fun video to shoot and to see.
So is he the guy that's actually doing all the stunts in the video? Who's the guy that's doing that?
He's doing most of the stunts, like all the fighting and everything that's not like he's not fighting the dog because you have to be a specialist. He's not jumping from car to car because you have to be a stuntman because that's everything that's is sort of like I don't know what the right word for it in English, but anything that's death defying, you need somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, sure.
Even though it's only like a meter jump from a car hood to the next car, it's still you miss it. The chances are at speeds of 40 or 50 kilometers per hour, you are going to die or at least maim yourself seriously. So those were done by professionals.
Okay. So if we can
But
talk about the shots that really killed
sure.
me is, like, the first thing is like the dog, like when it's biting the guy's arm and then he gets thrown out of the window. I mean, I just can't really get my head around how you cut that. I mean, there's no cut, it's incredible. Was it very difficult to kind of fit that together to make it
No, it
look
was
realistic?
you see, the dog was sort of upset for the first couple of takes, but then it sort of just realized. No, I'm kidding. That's my prepared answer, because someone told me that what's going to happen is people are going to get really pissed at throwing the dog out. Of course, we didn't throw the dog. We love animals, so we. I had a friend of mine who I used to study with. His father is a CGI specialist, and I asked him, "What the hell are you supposed to do if you want to throw?" I knew right away from the script that if we start a video with a dog biting us and then throwing out the window is going to be awesome. People are going to be hooked for at least another 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I started talking to him, and we had a bunch of ideas. And in the end, he said, "Well, if you can get a real dog, all you do, you just look out the window, then you go back to the dog, and then you throw out a. It's a stuffed dog, stuffed with about 12 kilograms of bricks."
Right.
And I don't know if I'll ever release the making of, because I'm sort of doubting whether it's how important it is and how much I want to reveal everything how we did. But it took us about 5 takes to smash that window with that dog. Even though it was funny, there was 20 people on the set, like 18 of them were friends, and the rest was me and Sergey. And Sergey spinning the dog. Because you can't just throw it with one arm, obviously. What we see at the end of that cut is just the ending of a continuous sort of 5 or 6 circles of him screaming and getting ready to throw the dog out. And every single time the dog would just bounce out the window. And we'd be like, okay, let's try one more time. And we had only one window to do this on, because of the budget. So we had a pyrotechnician there who brought us the AK-47, because we didn't want to do any CGI sort of flashes and all that crap. I like the old school and the real blood and all that stuff. So we asked him if he can rig up the window to have it blown up, and he did. And we got very lucky that we had one take, and he threw it out, and it went perfect.
Yeah, that's really good.
Except we were on the first floor, and right below the window was a Porsche Panamera.
So it didn't end well then.
No, the guy came out. He was, the worst person you'd expect to drive a Porsche Panamera. It was a huge. I swear, I'm not bullshitting here. It's a huge dude covered with tattoos who was actually the head of security on that business campus where we were. And but it was okay, because we checked and we sort of took the Porsche to what do you call it? A place where not a car wash. Yeah, a car wash where they waxed it, and it's fine. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And so what about the billiard ball as well? I mean, that's just so real, it made me wince. It's like, wow, he just really did throw that billiard ball at a guy's head. I mean, is that real? I mean, it's
nope,
just amazing.
it's very simple. It's he'd lift it up, and he would throw it behind him, and I would catch it right behind him, and he would just make the movement as if he's throwing the ball. And then we added the ball is actually CGI.
Wow, that's really...
We tried to do with a tennis ball that looked visually like a pool ball, except his left arm, if you recall, is all covered with blood. And there's the pool table, and the pool table is a very expensive thing for the what do you call the green thing, the
base, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, you can't spill blood on that, because it's not going to wash off. You can't take it to laundry, and we'd be screwed if we messed up with that, because it's a friendly office that gave us to shoot for free, so we didn't want to piss him off. So, and every single time he'd throw, because he's not allowed to move his left arm. You can't throw anything if you're not allowed to move your left arm. It's very weird for a human to, when you constrain. So, of course, we had to do CGI. So there's a few moments of things that we planned that we couldn't do, that we had to be like, oh, fuck it, let's CGI it.
Yeah, sure. So I guess one thing that isn't CGI that everybody seems to be talking about is the girls on the roof. I mean, how did you get hold of those girls?
We had a friend of mine who was the initial producer for this project that said we'll get the money, and he sort of showed us up. But I'm still thankful, because we got the ball rolling thanks to him. I just called him the night before. I said, look, we're filming tomorrow. I just realized we need to have girls. We totally forgot, because so much stuff happening. I forgot to plan for the girls. And he said, he gave me a link to a model site. He said, just pick whoever. I'm like, I'm not gonna, I don't feel too good browsing. Like, I have no problem with porn, but I have a problem browsing models and trying to pick one for, to come in tomorrow. Yeah, come in tomorrow. So it's weird. So I just said, look, just pick whoever. And if there's anybody you know who's got big breasts, we should take big breasts, because nothing gets people excited more than explosions and big breasts. And I'm not proud of it, really. I'm not, because I like the other videos. They're artistically they're a lot more viable than this. But this is watchable and it's fun. So I guess I have an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about the girls, haven't they? So I think you did the right thing.
A lot of people have been asking me what that girl is, and I've been doing a really good job of not letting out her name. So, yeah.
So the other thing is then, if you can tell us more about that car chase, because that's a really big deal, isn't it? The way that you filmed that. I mean, when you were doing that, is just talk us through the technicalities of how you managed that. That's
we had. It's okay. Half the video, every time you see like a brick wall or the car scene, that was filmed in there's a huge factory city not too far from Moscow Center. It's not abandoned, but it's like it's got guards and it's got some places still open, but it used to make all the tanks and just a lot of stuff in the Soviet Union, but it's been going really well. It's really bad for them lately, so they sort of rent it out for movie companies to mess about with. So we had two Volgas, the cars. We had them slightly prepped because we bought the cheapest cars possible, obviously. We had them slightly prepped for the shooting, and I think I had about 3 minutes of good materials of him crashing. There's not a single shot of them crashing into each other, because I realized I can't make a video longer than 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is going to be pushing it. So it was pretty much just a radio, a walkie-talkie in each car, and I sat behind the driver. There was the dead body guy on the right, and there was a radio in the guy who we're chasing, and sort of just be like, go, and I'd be sort of like hit him harder and slow down, and so it's there's a lot of cool stuff that we had to cut, unfortunately, in that scene. And the hardest thing with cars was not even the jump, it was the shooting where the Range Rover pulls up and we have to shoot the guy in the Range Rover. And I was driving the Range Rover. We didn't have any drivers, so I had the walkie-talkie was there. So it was a difficult shot. We had to take about, like, I think it was 8 or 9 takes, and every single time, because we had the guns were plastic, obviously, and I told the guy to drop them. Just as soon as you act like you shot, just drop the guns on the ground. And we practiced so many times where I told him, don't drop him yet. So as soon as we start getting good takes, he can't drop the guns. So we're like, okay, if this was the moment, I was like, listen, we'll just CGI it. And in the end, when I edited, I realized that it looks kind of goofy, but it's not critical. So we just he's hanging there holding the guns very carefully to make sure we don't lose those $10 guns.
I mean, how did you get into directing? Did you go to film school or anything, or is this just something you've fallen into?
I think I was about 10. I used to live in London when I was a kid. Even I'm Moscow born and raised. I think raised the wrong word. But I'm Moscow born. I moved to London when I was about 8. And I think it was there that I didn't have much to do apart from schoolwork. So I just used to go down to Blockbusters and rent a bunch of stuff. And I watch movies nonstop.
Yeah.
And that's when I think I was about 10 when I think we were watching. I'm not going to say what movie I was watching because it's embarrassing. But I was like, Mom. Okay, I'll say it was Police Academy 3. I'll say it. I was watching Police Academy 3. Okay, I was 10. I have my excuses. And I was like, Mom, who's the person responsible for this? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, who's the guy that sort of tells them, and who's the main guy here? She's like, well, it's probably the director. I'm like, well, that's what I want to be. So it wasn't like Dr. No or anything. It was freaking Police Academy. Like, even back then, I knew it was a stupid movie. But that's what my first thought was. I still remember this, and my mom would never let me forget. So, and I came back to Russia, and I finished school, and I enrolled in a film school, and I quit after about a year because it was pointless. And
why do you think it was pointless?
Because we had a great year. We did a lot of acting work, and I really appreciated that. But then at the end of, I think halfway through year 2, they said that we're going to go to the TV direction, like learning how to do live shows and all that. And for me, I don't watch TV. I never watch TV. Like, the only time I watch TV is when I go online to watch sort of like Jon Stewart or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to learn how to push buttons. That's not my thing at all. So I quit, and I got into I was accepted into Tisch School of the Arts in New York. But then I realized I'm 23 and I'm not going to go now to study for 5 more years, and I'll be, by the time I come out, I'll be an old man. And now I'm almost 30, and
Yeah.
I was thinking I should have gone, perhaps. Yeah,
Well, it's funny actually because a lot of people that, in fact, nearly every director that I've spoken to on the podcast, all of them didn't go to film school. So it's kind of interesting that it's a sort of trend for the more interesting filmmakers these days that they actually didn't go. So maybe
well,
you did the
because
right thing.
I hope so. Time will tell.
Yeah.
In Russian, we have a saying. It's pretty much the autopsy will not lie. So
Yeah.
the way I feel is that I think you cannot teach. Wait, I'm trying to phrase this exactly how I feel. It's like you can learn to be a director,
Mm.
but you can't be taught how to be a director. If
You
that makes
can't
any
teach
sense.
talent. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
My English was getting rusty. Thanks for that, Kat. Yeah. I think it's actually very true because I mean everybody in my film school there was about I think we had a big grade. We had 25 people. About I think 5 or 6 or 7 finished, and out of those, I think one of them will ever get close to making a film, and one has already. So there was a trio of us out of 25. The rest of us were like, yeah, whatever, let's do it. So it's
Yeah.
not I think the biggest, and a lot of people will back me up on this. A lot of directors should back me up on this. Hopefully, is that there's no better teacher than just watching film and understanding what you like about it and what you don't
Yeah,
like.
I
It's a matter
agree.
of taste. So.
I think you're right. The other thing is that we must talk about is the attention you've been getting. Samuel L. Jackson and Darren
Yeah,
Aronofsky, and
it's incredible.
how the hell did you get that to happen? How did you go about your viral campaign for the video, and why do you think it's caught on with these big name people?
I I think the only answer I can say is that I think it's a pretty good video.
So you didn't
I,
do anything special. You just did all your usual viral stuff, did you? Or
but what is the usual viral
I
stuff?
don't know, posting it on Facebook and tweeting it and all that kind of thing.
I have like at the moment when I released it, I had about 200 Twitter followers. I don't think I have a not quite as influential as Samuel Jackson with his 2 million plus. So
Yeah.
it's no, it's no. People actually woke me up because we are like 12 hours away from Pacific time, and when Aronofsky tweeted that, somebody actually called me, and I woke up and like, what? And they're like, Aronofsky just said, "So well done," and I was like, "Holy crap!" And that's
Yeah.
actually the last. To be honest, the last that it's like I think after Aronofsky, like if it was Woody Allen, I'd be more shocked. But
Yeah.
Aronofsky, because this is sort of the stuff he does. It's not like um, I just feel so nice that somebody who does smart movies liked something that was just like it is. It's just well done. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I do understand why people like it.
Yeah.
But it's not again. It's not like a well written piece or anything. So of course it was and that's another sad part. It's that my friends are always saying that you're going to be the guy who's going to be shooting blockbusters and like people with shotguns running around, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I like action movies. Who doesn't? But I don't like stupid action movies, and it was sort of pigeonholed. And I was annoyed at this. Now this video is going to seal the deal. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I like to say this though. We've been working on a very good movie for the last year and a half that we were actually very close to shooting in autumn, but this video has thrown us off a little bit. I've been working on a very smart film. I actually have no qualms saying it's going to be a smart film. It's a spy thriller in English. Shot. We're going to be shooting in Russia, and so it's one of the things that I'm worried career-wise is that, oh yeah, he's the guy that showed the tits and got the views.
I don't think that's the only thing that you're getting attention for.
I mean, and the dog and the titties. So,
but the other thing is of course, is that people are going to have, there's going to be do-gooders that are going to have an issue with the violence in this video. I mean, what would you say to them about that? What would you come back with on that?
Very simple. As an example, we've been talking to GoPro, the guys who made the camera, which made it all possible. And I never once asked for their support because I understand that this is not their material. Their guys are the guys who jump off cliffs and do crazy stunts and athletes pretty much. So blood and violence and breasts are not exactly their specialty. So and I was talking to the guys and they said maybe they'll show it. And I was like, if you guys do, it'd be great. I'll appreciate it, of course, because you have 5 million Facebook followers. It'll be a great help, and Awesome. And they actually put it up today, about 3 or 4 hours ago.
Wow.
They put it
That's
up,
cool.
and I was reading the comments, and it was a lot. It was like 2,000 shares in 15 minutes. It was crazy. And I was reading the comments, and about 9 of them are great, and people are seeing for what it is, because it is, it's a piece of entertainment.
Mm.
And then the 10th comment is like, "How dare you? How dare you share this with your fans? How dare you? We were expecting something usual and nice." And I was thinking, I don't want to call these people stupid, but you just clicked on a video with a pair of breasts on a thumbnail, which was called "Bad Motherfucker."
Mm.
You
It's
know,
true, isn't
this
it?
conversation is over. That's it.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and they took it down, and GoPro took it down like in those 20 minutes, and I completely understand him. I wrote to him. I said, "Guys, thank you very much for having us on there, even for the shorter time." But you know, a friend of mine was sitting here, and he was like, "You know what? Haters gonna hate," and I
Mm.
was like, "Okay, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
But look,
That's
you're
fine."
getting amazing attention. I mean, do you think that any of these directors like Darren Aronofsky or Samuel L. Jackson, do you think they're going to try and contact you? And what would you hope if they were going to go for that and
Look,
contact you?
it's hope's a wonderful thing. To
Yeah.
quote, what was that movie? Shawshank Redemption.
Mm.
What was that? What was that movie that's number one on IMDb? What's that name? You know the one I'm talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, as far as I know, Samuel Jackson does not look for directors, because Samuel Jackson is like the hardest working. He's always working man in Hollywood. So I don't think he needs to. I'm sure that one day, if I'll ever make it, that it'd be fun to call him for a role, because he's a great actor. But he's in my favorite movie of all time. So, or in my close to my favorite movie of all time. So that'd be awesome. But you know, I've been getting a lot of calls and a lot of letters from Hollywood, from agents, and from not studios particular, but from sort of divisions and everything. And all I know is that we got to take it very carefully, because this movie does not, this video does not change the fact that we've been going for a year and a half now preparing to shoot the film that I always wanted to shoot.
Sure. And you've got funding for that film, have you?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the best part. We always had the funding, so
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I don't have to. If it was, did this happen 5 years ago? Had this happened 5 years ago, I would have sort of been crawling on my way over there, saying, "Take me and please take me." And now I can sort of look back and, just look at what their options are. Plus, I'm very lucky to have a very cool producer here in Russia, who sort of understands the way the world works a lot better than I do. And we have a lovely lady in New York who's also the producer for our film. So I'm surrounded by lovely ladies.
How it should be. So,
Yes.
I mean, are you going to be carrying on with the band and making more films to go with your music?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be like, I don't have a set plan, because this obviously changes a lot of things. We had some ideas, because we wrote the single. This is just the video for the single, so we have about 30 demos that we can plow through and choose the stuff. I just know that the next thing you do has to be amazing, because you can't just sort of release it. Even though if you do a great song, it won't change the fact that you got 100,000 views. It's from a business sense, we really got to look back and just, we're not going to rush into it.